Hi, I'm Marc Pagani, and this is Tasting Tuesdays. Well, welcome to the very first episode of Tasting Tuesdays. This is the episode that I'm going to look back at in 2 or 3 years and think to myself, wow, that really sucked. But that's okay. We all need to start somewhere. So the series is going to be weekly, and I'm going to upload videos of my review of one bottle every week, and I'm going to be uploading that on Tuesday afternoon. So hence the name Tasting Tuesdays. If that sounds like something you're into and you want to check out, please do click right here on the subscribe button, and also check out lots of reviews and photos and a whole bunch of information on facebook.com/tastingtuesdays. So before we get started, since it is the first episode, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in, no, you're not interested in that. I've been into whiskey for about 20 years now, and I've been collecting for quite a while. And I've been to a lot of distilleries in the United States as well as Scotland, and I am a certified bourbon steward. I hope sometime this year, hopefully to become an executive bourbon steward. That's in the plans. So if you're interested in skipping right ahead to just the actual tasting, please go to this spot in the video. Okay, so today's bottle is Colonel E.H. Taylor Single Barrel Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Now this is the bottle they used to get pretty often back 5, 6, 7 years ago. It is allocated these days, so it has become much harder to find. I want to thank Dylan Mandola from the Louisiana Bourbon Collective for arranging for me to get this bottle. It should retail somewhere around $60, $65, $55, but on the secondary market, unfortunately, people are selling for quite a bit more. But let's talk about the whiskey. And now I get to switch over to my smooth narrator voice. Let's learn a little bit about this Colonel E.H. Taylor Single Barrel. So Colonel Edmund Haynes Taylor, who was a grandnephew of General Zachary Taylor, is widely considered one of the founding fathers of the bourbon industry, fighting for the Bottled and Bond Act of 1897, nearly 3 decades after he purchased what is now called Buffalo Trace Distillery. If you're not familiar with bottled and bond whiskeys, the rules are as follows. It must be distilled at one distillery and within a single season, year, must be aged at a federally bonded warehouse for not less than 4 years, and must be bottled at 100 proof. 2 things make this bourbon different than other Buffalo Trace bourbons. And they are the fact that it's aged in a climate-controlled warehouse C, which was built by Taylor in 1881, and the fact that it's bottled in bond. Each barrel is hand-picked, and each barrel utilizes Buffalo Trace's low-rye mashbill number 1, which is also used for bourbons like Eagle Rare 10-Year and Stagg Jr. The bottle itself is a likeness to Colonel Taylor's original design, which was used over a century ago. Taylor Single Barrel won a gold medal in 2019 at both the New York World Spirits Competition and at Whiskies of the World. All right, so now that you're an expert on E.H. Taylor Single Barrel Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, it's time for some whiskey porn. Okay, so now that we've relaxed after that very sexy pour, we're going to actually taste this stuff. So normally I would be using a Glencairn glass to do a whiskey review, but I got this beautiful Buffalo Trace glass, and several of them actually from the distillery many years back, maybe 2007. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to close that up just a little bit on the top, so it's about the same size as a Glencairn. And on the nose, I get like a marzipan candy thing going, and a little bit of like tart green apple. And at the very end, you get a whiff of that oak. It's a woody scent. It's not like you're licking a piece of oak, which we often do. It's more like walking through a forest and getting after a rain, just sniffing a little bit of the wood in the air, which is really lovely. It's not nose hair singeing at all. It's relatively low proof at 100. So let's try it. definitely coats the roof and the tongue really pretty completely, but a pretty full mouthfeel. I wouldn't say rich, I would just say full. It has a kind of a artificial candy flavor. Like if you think of those ropes of Twizzlers, the red ones, I think they're strawberry. It's not a strawberry flavor, but it's just that kind of fake candy like Mike and Ike's or Twizzlers, that kind of thing going on. And then the very end, the finish has a bit, it's really a lovely finish. It brings a little bit, you finally get a little bit of that, the typical bourbon flavors like vanilla and butterscotch and things like that. But there, again, there's a little bit of acridness at the very end, but it's just on the left side of my tongue for some reason. A little bit of burn there. But overall, it's really pretty lovely. It's not, it's not something that I'm going to have to rush out and buy another bottle of, and I can't anyway because it's super hard to find. But it's definitely good. And I know that these kind of bottles, they vary from bottle to bottle because it's single barrel. So it's one barrel is obviously going to be different than the other. It's pretty much like I remembered it tasting back when I was able to get it pretty often. It's nice. It's a lovely whiskey. And I don't really use a rating system of 4 out of 5 or anything like that. But it's definitely something that I can recommend if you can find it. And you can find it for under $80. I would definitely buy another bottle. So that's it for the first episode of Tasting Tuesdays. Thanks so much for checking us out. And again, subscribe if you can. And check us out on facebook.com/tastingtuesdays, and I will see you next week. Let's have a drink.